Welcome back, everybody, to the October Country Comics Podcast. It's Tuesday night.
Woo!
Are we? I just have a question. Are we gonna start like doing little skits, and then do old radio skits, and then breakaway to go? It's Tuesday night.
I was thinking about it. I mean, between me and Will, I do some writing, and he does some acting. Okay. We could do it like one of those old like radio plays. Like it'd be great, but I don't think we have the time or energy for that right now. Maybe
Friday
one
the 13th, the great night of the werewolf. Josie walked up with her boyfriend, Chad, up to the door. The creaks as they open it. I get a soundboard with like all of the...
What are you bringing to this?
Sitting in the shadows.
What I want to know, what are you bringing to this? Because you were like, we don't really have the time or the energy. And Will already painted the picture.
Yep.
Started the story, like plotted the hell out of it.
I'm just the guy who yells, "It's Tuesday night!"
Oh, okay.
Oh, Chad. Don't worry, Josie. We'll be just fine.
Why Chad?
I don't know. It was either that or Brad. I could have...
I
was just
Brad.
thinking of old-timey,
Let's turn on the radio and
Jersey
see what's
boy.
going on. It's Tuesday night.
My
It's
God.
the October Country Comics Podcast. That's like playing in the background of the scene.
Is this the pain
Is
management center?
is that the romantic music that's playing in the background? Our podcast.
Oh my God, that's
Our podcast is a mood setter.
Our October
I'm
Country
sure it's a
Podcast.
mood for something, dear.
Doesn't it get you all hot and bothered?
Ah, God.
So-
I need an ice cube right now just to cool myself off.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Excuse
boy.
me.
That was hot.
all right, everybody.
Keep it
Well,
coming. Keep the endorphins coming.
all right. Well, the usual cast of characters is here. This is Devon.
Well,
A hot and bothered Steven.
That's
pretty
that's
great.
more information than anyone ever needs to know.
That's not true.
That's-
Everyone at my job is listening to this.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
like
I do.
Marvel. Every time you introduce yourself, you need a new adjective.
Oh my God, yes.
The hot and bothered Spider-Man.
Oh my God. I feel like that's a parody somewhere.
Probably.
The tantalizing Steven.
Oh boy.
God.
Let's get into these new releases.
Yeah, let's.
All right.
That was a quick
Before we
banter.
sidetrack.
All right, so big new releases for this week, everybody. We've got coming up the Daredevil Annual. It's the first annual for the new run on Daredevil since Legacy happened. It's a throwback story dealing with one of the early meetings of Daredevil and Misty Knight. Misty Knight in this story is she's still a detective for the NYPD. She does not have her metal arm yet, and the story is it's a pretty straightforward superhero misunderstood story where she catches him in what seems to look like the scene of a murder. Obviously, things go from one thing to another, and she thinks that he's the one who did the murdering.
Man in big red devil costume standing
wait.
over bloody corpse.
Wouldn't he be in black?
Why would he be in black?
Or would he be in yellow and red?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I'm not sure. It's an early meeting. It doesn't mean that
okay.
that she met him when he was still. It's not Batman Begins
Well, that's
early.
what I was thinking. With that, because I was trying to find it, but I couldn't. Is that still Sewell?
I believe so.
Like he's still on the book. Like they haven't
yeah,
picked him up.
I would imagine it's Sewell.
It sounds interesting because we didn't get... Like, they were on the same team for Hunt for Wolverine, but we didn't get a lot of their camaraderie because she was mostly bouncing off of the Inhuman detective that was with them.
Literally.
Literally. Yes, read the book, but...
that's, what's his name? Mick something, right?
Yeah, Mick, I think is what they just call him in the book.
Yeah, but he has... I can't... He's the one that...
Mick Smiggin.
he's got an eye thing. He takes like pictures with his
Yeah.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
I'm just curious with this book how far they're going to go back. Because I think I don't know if you're aware of this, Will. Will, do you know where Misty Knight started?
I don't know what book now.
She was originally introduced in Uncanny X-Men. She was Jean Grey's college roommate when Jean leaves the team.
That is a weird place
That is
to
a
start.
weird
They're
place
not...
to
Well,
put her.
they're not
see
going
where
that
she
far
is
back.
now.
They're going as far back as she being a detective on the NYPD.
She was started. Oh,
She
yeah, I think she was
can't-
starting to be a detective.
But that's a fun fact for you listeners out there.
Yeah.
You wondered where Misty Knight was from.
Uncanny X-Men, I believe, is where she made her first appearance.
Also, if real quick, Uncanny X-Men tidbit: if you anyone out there listening, if you ever want to see a big Marvel boo-boo where they messed up on censorship, look up the first issue where Storm fights Arcade.
Why?
There was she had gotten out of the shower, and for some reason the censors didn't catch it.
The nipple?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
I forgot what issue. It's early Uncanny X-Men though. When right after Giant Size, the first time they fight Arcade.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Claremont and Byrne, yep.
Wow.
Byrne just drew her with naked?
Yeah, apparently I didn't know this because it's definitely not emphasized now, but Storm apparently prefers to be naked.
Yes.
They don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it now, but in the early Claremont days,
early
they
Claremont,
did.
yeah, she was like because she used to water the garden.
She was the Wind Rider.
Yeah. She would water the garden naked. That was her thing. She took
normally,
care of the greenhouse.
She was normally topless.
Yeah.
Like when they first get her, she's actually topless, and she has her hairs, as Peter Griffin would say, you have hair growing from your boobs, going up to your chest and into your head.
So
nice.
So those are your fun X-Men facts for the day.
That was a fun.
Yeah,
not
it's interesting.
Long
those were little nuggets. That's gonna be Will's thing. Not too long. He's timing the hell out of it.
All right. So Daredevil Annual, first meeting, Misty Knight, Daredevil, or early meeting anyway.
Cool.
Go check it out. It sounds like it's a fun story. So I mean, even if you're not invested in Daredevil, if you're just looking for a good story, check it out. Next up, we got Edge of Spidergeddon number 2. It's going to be dealing with the Gerard Way character. She's the scientist who creates the Spider-Man mech suit. It was actually one of the few issues that was actually a lot of fun during the original Spider-Verse.
Well, when you said Gerard Way at first, I'm like, when did Gerard Way start writing for Marvel? And then I was like, oh, he's actually meeting a character.
But you don't know. Gerard Way wrote
Gerard
for
Way.
Marvel.
Oh,
Gerard Way
I did not know that.
from My Chemical Romance, yeah.
When did he write for Marvel?
A couple years ago. He only did
It wasn't much.
No, he only did a couple one-shots.
Huh.
But yeah, no, he I mean, I'm not really sure what Gerard Way's plans are, but you know, he's going back on the Umbrella Academy in a couple months though.
Yeah,
so
I think he's mainly just DC now, especially Young Animal mostly.
Well,
all the Young Animal stuff's done.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
then maybe he's just doing broad DC stuff.
Well, he's going back to indie because Umbrella Academy is Dark Horse.
Okay.
So it's the first Umbrella Academy story in about 10 years. So this should be pretty good.
How was Spidergeddon number 1? Did you read
it was fun. It was. I mean, it's. Spidergeddon. Edge of Spidergeddon number 1 was dealing with the Hobie Brown alternate version where he's Spider Punk.
Yeah.
So and I think that story was mainly dealing with the Lizard of that reality, of him fighting the Lizard in that reality. So. And of course, it's spoiler warning. The other Spider Warriors from across the dimension show up and be like, "Hey, something big's going on. We need your help again." And people are trying to kill us because
why not?
We're partially the linchpin of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, Spider-Man kind of always has been, which is...
Of course. You want to introduce a new character, it goes through a Spider-Man.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean,
It's an old custom.
I mean, what's the... New characters are always, introduced in Spider-Man, X-Men, and Avengers?
Well, think of it this way.
Just mainly...
For Spider-Man, more so, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Punisher, Cloak and Dagger.
Yep. Kingpin.
Black Cat.
Yeah,
just a lot of characters have spiraled off of the book, but yeah, it sounds interesting. Yeah. We're getting there.
Oh God,
is the event itself?
Speedball
was in the annual.
I still liked it better as Penance.
Is it supposed to be is Edge of Spidergeddon supposed to be like
it's the
Infinity Countdown, or is it?
Yeah, kind of. They did the same thing with Spider-Verse. They did an Edge of Spider-Verse where they spotlighted a lot of the key characters that were going to be playing in the main event. Like if you ever look up Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, that's the first appearance of Spider-Gwen, and that's probably like the highest priced issue out of the bunch. because she kind of just became a runaway character. People really enjoyed her character.
Oh yeah.
She even has a new book coming out soon called
Ghost.
It's Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider. Or no, I think they're just calling it Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider now. They took out the AKA.
I think they could have left the AKA.
I just think they should.
I think it would have been fun.
Just call it Spider-Gwen. I don't like,
We know who she is.
Yeah.
They're not going to call her, oh my god, look, it's Ghost Spider. They're going to be like, oh, it's Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, what's Jessica Drew doing besides having a kid?
Is she in any books right
That's
now?
what I mean. I don't
She's
going to
be in Spidergeddon.
Oh,
yeah,
I'd imagine.
so they can kill her off.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this book. I mean, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of characters that... I mean, I think Ben's going to die again. Ben Reilly. I'm a huge Ben Reilly fan. He's probably... Of all the characters in the Spider-Man mythos, he's my favorite character,
including Peter Parker.
Like above Peter. Ben Reilly is my favorite character above Peter. Peter's my second favorite. But
where does Miles rank for you?
I don't know, probably in like the mid range. Like if I was gonna do like a top 10, he'd probably be like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Miles is a pretty decent character. I've never had a problem with Miles. I've just never been a fan of the Ultimate Universe.
Oh. Okay.
But the yeah, I mean there's a lot of stuff going on that I think there's a lot of characters that are gonna bite it. And again, being a big Ben Reilly fan, I was never a big fan of the fact that they brought him back a couple years ago.
Yeah, you were.
And I wasn't a fan of what they did to him.
He was like a villain, which made no sense.
I mean, Peter David's fixed it. He's done a lot to fix the character.
Oh, wasn't he the villain of
Clone Conspiracy?
Saga? Oh, Clone Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Which didn't overly make sense.
No, and the way that they do it is kind of flimsy.
Wasn't he a villain in or he was kind of like an anti-hero in that new Damnation?
Yeah, but that's also post Clone Conspiracy.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing: when Ben, for anyone who wants to check it out, the original Clone Saga from the '90s and all the Ben Reilly stuff it's fun now that it's done and you can read it all in one sitting. Back then, it was drug out over the course of like 6 years.
Yeah, it was a pain.
So it was, for a lot of people who hate it, I understand, but for now, like being able to read all of it in one spot is good. But I also feel that when Ben, spoiler alert, when Ben died, when Ben got killed by the Green Goblin, Ben died a hero. Ben went out, he sacrificed himself to save Peter. Peter was about to get impaled by the Goblin's glider, and Ben threw himself in front of it. That's also how they found out that Peter wasn't the clone, because Ben disintegrated.
Ah.
That was the big reveal, was that Norman had been messing with Peter for so long that, that was what was going on. So he died a hero, and then, Dan Slott, who his run is very sporadic for me for the good points and the low points. This was one of those points where I was kind of like, I feel like you purposely tried to ruin this character because you were one of the people who didn't like the book when it was happening. So if he dies in Spidergeddon, I just hope that that Christos Gage gives him a hero's death again, because I feel that's the best way for him to go out.
Do you know who because I was bagging and boarding the other day and you talking about your Spider-Man characters. I very much miss the Spider-Man 2099 book.
It was a good book.
That was a good, solid book.
It was a good book.
I'm not saying it was groundbreaking, but if you're looking for a consistently good read every issue, that's your book.
Yeah.
And the covers are pretty.
I also feel like that was one of those books where it kind of run its course.
Yeah.
Peter David had told the story he could tell with it, and they were kind of like, "Hey, Peter, listen, 2099 is not really a big seller. They brought Ben back. People are really mad that he's a villain. Can you fix this and we'll give you another Spider book?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure."
We also saw your GoFundMe page, so, here's a paycheck.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I went there.
Come on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we have actually a couple of X-Men releases this week. The first one being Extermination #2. So everyone who's been reading X-Men Blue and Gold and who's been hanging out watching the journey of the young versions of the X-Men for the last 5 years,
either hating it or loving it.
This is it. This is everything. This is everything you could ever want it to be, and my God, Ed Brisson is doing an amazing job with this book.
I was gonna say it's literally like the closest that we've come to Golden Age X-Men, like going back to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
We shall see if that's continued with X-Men Disassembled.
Dude, that team though is absurd.
Oh yeah, uncanny.
Oh, you mean the Uncanny X-Men for that event?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it's just gonna be Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
It's just 10 parts.
Kelly Thompson, my husband's on it.
Say his name.
Matthew Rosenberg.
Wow, you don't
Everybody
even
who
know his
listened to the
name.
last one.
I kept my last name.
Matthew Rosenberg.
I kept my last name.
And Ed Brisson. But yeah, no, everything right now that's going on in this book is they're not pulling any punches with this.
No,
not at
they
all.
are any character that doesn't belong anymore
may not be there.
Is going away. This is the stakes are high. There are characters not walking away from this.
Have we seen Rachel in the teaser art? Now that you brought that up, speaking of characters that don't belong,
Rachel Gray?
Mm-hmm.
I know she's a big focus of the new issue because she's dealing with Ahab.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about time displacement, and although Rachel has found her home here, technically Rachel is a time displaced mutant. She does not belong in our time.
I don't know.
Technically, isn't also Bishop and Cable?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's
Bishop leading the Uncanny X-Men right now.
Please, for the love of God, don't let that be happening. I just hope he's there.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to get rid of everyone, but I think there's certain characters. I think that any loose ends from the Ultimate Universe and anything from this young X-Men being brought from the past thing is getting wrapped up.
Rectified.
I hope they just keep the cool ones, like Gambit and Nightcrawler.
Well, they're
and
from our
Wolverine.
time.
Oh, by the
All
way,
from our
in the
I was branching on to the Disassembled, but also yes, Extermination. The first issue was nuts.
Yeah, nutter
So,
butters.
but they're going back. I hope they do it well. I like the way that they've done it so far.
Well, here, I mean,
so-
honestly, if anyone out there who has been an X-Men fan who hasn't been reading X-Men, just start with Extermination.
That's what I'm doing. I have not read. I read the first issue of X-Men Gold when I got back into the reading comics. When I got into reading comics for the first time in a while and wanted to pick up some Marvel because I'd been picking up DC for so long. And X-Men was restarting with everything. I picked up the first issue of X-Men Gold. That's all I've gotten so far. And I've wanted to read X-Men because I've been a fan of the cartoons and stuff like that. And I've been wanting a book that'll really get me into it. But now since everybody's time displaced and we've got two different versions of this character. And this character's from this universe but also in the future. And it's blah, blah, blah. Now I'm getting into Extermination so that I know where we're at once the new books come out.
I just want to scream out Scott and have an X-gasm.
Gene!
Scott! Gene!
Yeah, you know who yelled a lot in that
lightning.
show too? Professor X. My mind!
But yeah, so anyone who's looking for a good starting point for X-Men, Extermination,
Jesus,
and then jump right into Uncanny X-Men #1 when that comes out in November. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's a few weeks.
Comes out the second week of November because the last issue of Extermination comes out the first week of November. So that's gonna be really cool.
It's only 5 issues. Pick it up, right? 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's so good.
So yeah, I'm super excited, and it's just they're not pulling any punches with this book.
No.
And then speaking of a character who does a lot of something in the animated show, which was grunting, Wolverine Dead Ends comes out this week as well.
Your
He did.
power
he also
is
talked like he smoked
Well,
packs
in
a
his
day.
defense, in the 90s, he did nothing but smoke cigars.
That's true.
And to be
That's
fair, I
very
mean,
boastful.
Wolverine had a pretty rough life.
Here's superpowers.
I mean,
flailing.
Not being able to sing was fine. This is your superpower. It's flailing.
Superpowers.
Oh.
What is a bike? What is a motorcycle made of? Tubes and string. I can picture you picturing that in your mind. It's metal.
So honestly, if anyone ever wants to do themselves a favor, look up the Honest trailer for the X-Men animated series.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's amazing. It's great. It's just
yeah, I've seen the Honest trailer.
the Honest trailer is
But
great.
I don't remember anything from it.
Wolverine trying to curse. So funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, Wolverine Dead Ends comes out this week. It's the wrap up to the Hunt for Wolverine.
Can I say one more thing for the X-Men animated series?
Sure.
So we're playing it in the store because the new Blu-ray came out. Buy it if you want. But there was a moment where Wolverine is hurt and he's with Jean and he like kind of kneels over and he's like, ugh, he's trying to walk away but he can't, and she's like, oh, what's the matter? And she's like, Scott's waiting for me over there. I gotta go. And he's like, I'm waiting too. And he gets really close.
Cyclops is waiting for me. So am I.
Yeah, it gets like really.
I might have like binged all of the Jean Grey episodes, like the relevant Jean Grey episodes, because that's before the Morlocks get her. And then she wants to call Callisto a bee, and she can't. It's one of the most awkward sentences.
Again, like
in the
listen,
whole...
like. And here's the thing. I mean, you guys probably saw my post. I did a shout out to Ed Breeson and Kelly Thompson and Matthew Rosenberg.
Was
please,
that the post where you
please,
were like,
for the love of God,
bring Morph
someone
back.
please bring an animated show version of Morph to the comics.
We just also have to bring this up just because we talked about the animated show and now you've got me going.
Yeah.
Jean used Logan to do everything that she knew Scott would never do.
It's kind of like Black Widow and Hawkeye and Winter Soldier.
Like, when Jean needs to die, she's not like, Scott, shoot me. It's like, no, Logan, do it.
Well, because she knows
you're a
Wolverine
monster.
Can do it.
Wow, she's not.
She
doesn't call him a monster. Jeez.
Anyway, Wolverine Dead Ends.
So yes, Wolverine Dead Ends is out this week.
Yes.
It's wrapping up the Hunt for Wolverine, like I said.
Culmination, it's coming.
Everyone is comparing notes with what they found about Logan, from Madripoor, from the Adamantium Agenda, from Claws of a Killer, and from Weapon Lost.
I gotta say, out of all of them, Adamantium Agenda was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Because that one ended
not
with
my favorite.
That one, because I know you said, in order of them coming out, but I gotta put Adamantium Agenda because I think that's the only one that actually had something interesting come out of it.
Did you?
Which, spoiler alert for those of you that haven't read the Adamantium Agenda, but they say like, oh, Wolverine or one of the X-Men isn't a mutant, Sinister as a sleeper agent. That's like, because like none of them were gonna be like, oh my god, we found Wolverine.
And hey, listen, I'm putting this. I'm like almost 100% sure of who the sleeper agent is.
Yeah, you talked about it on the last one.
I'm willing to put money on this. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going 20 to 1 odds on this. Okay, it's Gambit. It's gonna be Gambit.
My follow-up is with the Wolverine coming back stuff.
Yeah.
Is this before or after Jean is alive? I'm assuming it's before.
What? No. With Logan?
Yeah.
No, because X-23 is she's still Wolverine.
Okay, so it would be before Jean comes back, kind of.
No.
Okay.
Because in X-Men Red, Laura's still Wolverine. She's still wearing the Wolverine costume. So Jean's back before Logan comes back.
Because I'm wondering.
Yeah,
if
that's
gonna
be crazy.
And I'm almost 100% certain that the Phoenix Force is part of the reason why Logan's back.
Oh Jesus! Oh God, that would explain the flaming claws.
Yes, he has a new power where he can heat his claws.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah, you haven't seen the comic art for it?
No.
Yeah, his claws. They're
like glowing.
Yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, it might be the Phoenix Force. Yeah, I think.
Depressing.
But we shall see.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think so. Wolverine Dead Ends. Obviously, I feel like the title.
Happen.
I feel like the title is self-explanatory. It's Dead Ends. They've all kind of hit a wall. They don't. They have They have pieces of what and where Logan might be.
You put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you get the picture.
And I feel like they're gonna put all these pieces together. They're gonna go, okay.
And
So we
another
have
5 years.
We have an idea, and then they're like, oh, but we're missing this real vital piece of the puzzle.
And then Wolverine walks in and he goes, "Hey, bub."
Which is also really strange because obviously this story too clearly it takes place way before Infinity Countdown.
It has to.
So Infinity Countdown takes place apparently ahead of.
Maybe it takes place during because Wolverine's already back.
Yeah,
and
but
they all know he's back. They
but
just don't know where.
Is he free from whatever has him?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because right now we don't know. Yeah, so this obviously this story is taking place way before all the Infinity Countdown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
maybe he had it. Maybe he had the stone and then gave it to Widow and then got captured.
No,
because he was off fighting Ultron after that.
Yeah.
Or
no,
Loki.
He had the stone when he fought Loki and Ultron's.
Would explain why if it's overly like space characterized, which would explain the Phoenix Force theory.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe he's been back for a while and he did get captured. I don't know. We'll find out in Return of Wolverine, which is.
Is that a mini or is that an ongoing?
It's a mini.
Of course it is.
Return of Wolverine's a mini.
I would hate that if it was an ongoing.
Let's just drag this out.
Well, no.
At least it's not an ongoing. Then they'd really be dragging it out.
Yeah. So we're gonna have. It's gonna be the.
I want him to return, and then I want him to be on an X team.
He won't.
Yeah. That's it. He'll be on an X team.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I have
no, really, because probably after it's probably all gonna line up with when Return of Wolverine's over. The 10 issues of Uncanny X-Men will be done, and by that point, they'll be able to do the.
Is Uncanny the entire thing is just going to be the 10 issues?
Yeah. No. That's the first arc, the disassembled arc.
Oh, so then they'll just continue after
Which
that.
I also have a feeling that the disassembled arc, those 10 issues, are going to lead up to an anniversary issue. So they're going to start. That's when they'll do the dual number, I guess, with issue 11.
Yeah.
Right.
God forbid, get rid of all of them. All the dumb characters.
Next up, for all the Bendis fans out there, Scarlet #1 comes out this week. Scarlet, for everyone who doesn't know, was a book Bendis was doing originally for Marvel Icon, which was about a girl a woman who she was fighting against police corruption, and she set in motion the events that are going to lead to the next American Revolution. So. It's kind of like female Punisher. So we're it's been a long running character that Bendis he's been on and off with from time to time.
He writes it when he wants to.
Well, yeah, and I mean I think that now with his like lessened workload, I mean what's he really write? He's writing Superman.
And this mystery Batman project.
No. It's not a mystery Batman project. No, it's just a mystery project. But no, yeah. I think now that
isn't he also writing Pearl, or is that not him?
No, that's
him.
Okay.
But that's all. But that's all his creator-owned stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's I think that's one of the things. I think that's one of the reasons why he also made the switch to DC was, hey, I just want to write Superman and I want to do all my creator-owned stuff. And they said, okay. I think that's basically what his contract was. I don't think he wanted to really get involved in too much else. Just because he's neglected a lot of his creator-owned stuff for quite some time. I mean, even the Powers book, which was one of his
TV series.
It was one of his biggest indie books that he was doing under the Marvel Icon logo. That it's literally become a joke because, I mean, not the book isn't a joke. It's still a pretty good book. But the idea of when it comes out is because there's a new issue, but it only comes out once a year. So we make the joke.
It's an annual.
We make the joke that it's an annual. Yeah, it's the Powers annual is finally out.
Thank God.
So yeah, anyone who was a fan of the series before, Scarlet is now going to be under the DC banner, under I believe it's the Jinx World imprint, which is Bendis's creator-owned imprint for DC. Next up, we have a couple of Venom titles out. The Venom First Host, which is a miniseries written by Mike Costa and drawn by Mark Bagley. It's dealing with the original person who was the host of the Venom symbiote before it got imprisoned on Battleworld and before even Spider-Man got it. So it's looking more and more like he's a Kree warrior.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Captain Marvel.
No, it's someone who's a Kree, who's a soldier.
Because that Mike Mayhew cover?
Yeah.
That's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Did you not see it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, well, I just want Mike Mayhew to draw me on Velvet.
It's probably like a 1 in 300 though.
It's a pretty cover.
It's like he did a cover for I think it was Amazing Spider-Man 797 for the Red Goblin, where it was a homage cover of the Hobgoblin issue where he's tearing the costume in half. Wanted that, but that thing was like $250.
Yeah, there's a Vampirella one that he did for Roses for the Dead.
Yeah.
He wishes I loved Vampirella this much.
Yeah.
It was like $350.
Wow.
And she's just like laying, like not naked, but she's like she's in her toothpaste bathing suit. And she's just laying there with like silk around her and roses. And I was like, I am not spending $350 for something that's this pretty. No.
Nice. So yeah. For all the Venom fans out there, if you're looking more, because they've been revamping a lot of the Venom history, and
retcon, get ready for Venom Zero host in like 4 years. I don't know why such a specific time frame.
So
the original host, the original before the original.
Stop it.
So it's I'm actually looking forward to this a lot because I've always been a big Venom fan. And the Venom First Host book sounds really interesting because it kind of gives you more context as to stuff about the Venom symbiote. Because back in the day, they did a storyline called Planet of the Symbiotes. And that was when you found out that the Venom symbiote wasn't by itself. It actually was from a race of beings. And
of symbiotes, or it was created by the race of beings?
No,
it was actually created by the symbiote. That's just to say it to piss down.
No, he's from a race of symbiotes.
Okay.
And what you wind up finding out is that basically the symbiotes aren't really symbiotes. They're more like parasites. They consume a host, they drain it of basically all its life energy, and just leave a dead husk behind.
Nice.
Whereas the Venom symbiote was an outcast because it wanted to actually be have a symbiotic relationship with the host. So the host would keep it alive because it would share. It wouldn't have to like look for more food kind of thing. And the Venom symbiote would imbue the user with phenomenal cosmic power. Yes. But yeah, no. So it was deemed an outcast, or it was like, by their standards, mentally ill. So they imprisoned it on Battleworld, which is where Spider-Man found it, brought it to Earth, and then the whole Venom saga started. So it's going to be interesting to see the first host, basically the person or being that it first tried to do this with, that the rest of the race deemed it, okay, no, that's wrong. That's not what we do. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Okay.
For everyone who's been following the new Donny Cates Venom series, which again is also delving a lot more into the history of the symbiotes, dating all the way back to like medieval times on Earth.
Like a turd.
There's a book called
It's funny. I'm sorry.
There's a book called Web of Venom coming out. It's dealing with a team of Vietnam, a mercenary team in Vietnam, which was actually led by Nick Fury, who stumble across buried symbiotes in Vietnam. So they're actually the first people on Earth to encounter symbiotes. And of course, Nick Fury knows about it, because why wouldn't he? He's Nick Fury.
Yep.
So, some really cool Venom stuff coming out this week. It's called, so you got Venom, the first host, and you also have Web of Venom, Venom.
Venom.
Yeah,
Venom.
Of course.
Vietnam, Venom. It's cool. It's a nice little play on words.
Yeah.
And then some honorable mentions this week for the new releases are all the new DC Looney Tunes crossovers. You've got Catwoman with Sylvester and Tweety, Harley Quinn and Gossamer. Then you also have Lex Luthor with Porky Pig and Joker and Daffy Duck. So
let the laughs ensue.
I guess I don't know how. The last batch were pretty serious books. Like, they weren't like, haha, Looney Tunes funny. They were like, hey, this is the real world.
Alrighty. I mean, I guess.
Yeah. So those are all the new releases, guys. Not a lot of really huge titles this week, but some stuff big enough that we really recommend you come out and check out. So, coming up now is the news.
The news.
First, a word from
our sponsors.
From our
Yeah,
a word from our weather. Steve, how's the weather outside?
I want to say something, but I can't.
We got news.
I was just gonna.
Thanks, Ollie.
I was gonna say something about Satan, but
let's get back.
I wanted you to
the
just do the
news.
thing from Family Guy. Hey, Steve, how's the weather out there? Good. Thanks, Steve. Come on, man. We do this like every week.
we do.
Who's your favorite singer, Ollie? Cher. He doesn't even like Cher.
Oh my God.
Now back to the.
He likes Cher.
I do like Cher.
Do you believe in love?
Stop talking in your goat voice.
Anyway, so the news for this week. First up, they just announced that there's going to be a new Batman and the Outsiders book spinning out of Detective Comics.
Oh boy, who's writing it?
Brian Edward Hill.
He's been doing detective for like the last 4 issues.
He was also
Detective issues with Black Lightning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He also wrote the last Black Lightning miniseries as well.
He's also been writing
Michael Cray.
We getting the Preacher Man on this book.
No, you know what? It's not as preachy as the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually enjoyable. Like,
oh, well, Devon, you told me his stuff. I haven't read any of his stuff, but you told me he was a very preachy guy.
I didn't.
No, the show was. I haven't really read a lot of his.
No.
I know a lot of people weren't happy with his first detective issue,
and I didn't understand why. I thought it was a fun. Maybe because we were coming off of, Tinian's enormous run.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
Mm-hmm. But I like that Brian Hill is like becoming a thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say on a short note, though, that while the show's preachy, I enjoy it because there are times where it's done tastefully and there are times when it's literally fisted down your throat. And they come, it's either or with an episode.
That was a little aggressive, Will.
Well, that's how they do it. I'm only on episode 6, and I've been on episode 6 for the last 2 weeks.
Did you get to the episode where his youngest daughter keeps getting called a white girl?
No.
There's a Instagram account dedicated to calling her a white girl. Like, there's a video of her face being pasted on a white girl dancing. Like, it's that. There's just a whole episode about it.
Is that
because apparently it's an insult. It's
all right, whatever. Okay, anyway, moving on.
But it is a good show if you ignore that stuff.
Okay.
Like if you.
I do also want to just bring up for Brian Hill. Sorry, indigestion. His Aphrodite 5 series for Top Cow, it's the 4-part mini, is so absurdly good. Like, this book is one of my favorite minis that I've read this year. And I'm only on issue 2. The artwork's beautiful. So I like that he's, like, doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also apparently taking over for Kiss.
Oh.
Yeah, the Dynamite book.
Like
Kiss.
performing?
Yes, he's going to be the role of Richard Simmons.
Gene Simmons?
Gene Simmons will
be
be played
by Brian Edward Hill.
Nice.
So
do you imagine him doing
the Tom? No, I want to see him.
Exercise.
I want to see him
Richard
do
Simmons
too.
Who's our lineup in this?
So
in this
the
new
lineup
book?
is it's Batman.
Okay.
Okay.
Go figure in Batman and the Outsiders.
Yeah.
So all right. So Batman, Black Lightning.
All right. Yeah.
Katana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orphan.
Ooh.
I don't really know the character that well.
Cassandra Cain.
Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
The original.
Is that the one that doesn't talk?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one that
Okay.
has like the speech problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who only knows she talks through killing.
Yeah.
Okay.
She reads basically her language is body movement, and she
Yeah.
like knows every way to kill someone like in like a matter of seconds. And the last person for the lineup is the Signal.
You mean that great Scott
Hooray!
Snyder character introduced in his Batman books?
Maybe they'll kill him off.
Hopefully. Who uses him? I'm actually surprised someone who's not Scott Snyder is using this character.
It was probably shoved down like force.
Yeah, they probably made him do it.
To be fair, I mean, it's also one of those things that
Duke Thomas.
well, no, but that's my thing. Like the thing about Brian Edward Hill though is like he's kind of getting a reputation for writing the black character, and they literally sat there and like, well, we're not using him anywhere else, and he's black. So here you go, Brian.
I will, however, say, okay,
Nice.
so wait. One of the many reasons to check out, which I don't understand why this book had so much negativity attached to it, his first issue of Detective,
Yeah.
the first few pages, the Signal gets his ass handed to him. Like, just brutally, like, within an inch of his life. And, like, for the rest of the story arc, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Do it for Johnny.
Nice. Didn't they have a Batman in the Signal book?
Oh my god, hold on
Yes,
one moment.
and it did poorly.
I just made
Yeah.
an Outsiders reference for Batman and the Outsiders.
Nice.
That clicked.
Nice.
That clicked beautifully.
It does.
That was not on purpose. It just happened.
They actually do have the Outsiders comic makes an appearance in the Black Lightning show when the oldest daughter meets her love interest for later on. She's a comic book. I want to note that no comic book fan folds their comic book and puts it in their back pocket because that's what this girl. That's how she sees it. The girl folds it up
Yeah,
in
I
like
saw that.
thirds and puts it in her back pocket and stuffs it there. And she's like, "Hey, what's that?" Because she turned around and she was like, "Oh, it's the comic The Outsiders." You don't get a really good look to see who's on the cover of it, but yeah, that
How very
happens.
meta.
no one.
Meta-human, you'd
Meta-human.
say? Because they say that a lot.
No one. No one folds up. Like you could roll it up like in like
Like
a
a newspaper.
newspaper and put it in your pocket. Like that happens. That's
And then
normal.
sit on it.
I'm pretty sure she folded it into thirds.
I'll tell
That's-
you when I get there.
That's ridiculous. That's silly. Anyway,
Which just pin. I like that character in the comic book. I don't know how I feel about
Her
the show.
girlfriend?
Yeah, her character's a
That's a
legit
real
character.
girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Go on. Sorry.
so Batman and the Outsiders being written by Brian Edward Hill.
It kind of sounds interesting because it's like I've said before. I go team books by lineups, and that's 3 out of 5. So that's a pretty good stat. But we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, aside from the Signal, I kind of like the lineup. I think it's a fun lineup.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of fun.
So.
If they take Metamorpho off the Terrifics book
I was
and then
just
put
gonna
him
say
in
that.
there, yeah, you can put him in there. Get a classic lineup.
Yeah.
I
Or-
didn't know that the new character they were introducing in the newest season of Young Justice was Geoforce. They're actually putting Geoforce in the mainstream. I haven't seen much of that character. Speaking
Why?
of Outsiders, I don't know. They're like
I don't know Geoforce.
delving deep into him,
Wow.
like in there. He's
Alright.
voiced by a Superboy's voice actor because I recognize him.
Oh, interesting.
What?
That got real.
Deep into Geoforce.
I hate you both.
But yeah, moving on.
All right.
God.
So next up in the news, So I mean, again, for all you Batman fans out there, Black Lightning fans,
All you Outsiders fans.
Batman and the Outsiders coming out later this year, spinning right out of the Detective Comics story. So if you want the prelude or the unofficial backdoor pilot, check out the most current arc of Detective Comics.
Indeed.
So next up is there's some interesting Superman news for CW. Superman looks like he is returning to the Supergirl show, probably mostly for the crossover.
Yes, I've heard he's going to make an appearance, although his involvement in the crossover is not revealed. I think it's small. It's very small. I think he makes an appearance. Why?
Why not? I love a good evil Superman.
What?
Did you not watch the animated show?
I watched a bit of it.
The animated show had the best ending for Superman ever. I am sorry.
What are you talking about?
The Superman animated show?
Yeah, what about it?
He goes bad. Darkseid corrupts him. Kara gets shot with a kryptonite bullet.
Yeah, but that's not how. But he comes back.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I like Superman as a villain.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like it ends with him just like being evil.
Yeah,
It should have.
like like him just being like a villain of the.
He should have ripped Darkseid in half and just taken over the world.
Yeah, but this might be not only a segue into a Batwoman show, but maybe a Superman show. And I think, since they're doing Supergirl, I mean, why not at this point,
Well,
you know?
I mean, the other thing, too, is, so, with Superman coming back, they've also announced that Lois Lane will be joining him on the CW.
Yeah.
So...
Why not? That's the only, other than, like, Perry White and Lex Luthor, who they won't stop mentioning Lex
They'll get him
Luthor.
sooner or later.
Yeah, probably. Especially if they're going Superman.
Yeah,
but in this timeline,
Lena's
Lex has already been convicted and put into prison, so I don't know how
now,
they're going to work around
real quick,
that.
guys, I mean, is Supergirl set in Metropolis?
No, it's
she's
in
National City.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So, yeah, they could definitely really do a Superman show and be fine with it.
Well,
Yeah.
originally, I think it was the DC thing, the app. They were supposed to be doing a Lois show.
I never
I
heard
about that.
I
Yeah.
heard about a Metropolis show.
That's what it was called, Metropolis. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Stop
it was,
doing the city shows. Just
But it
do a
was gonna-
show
but
about
it was
the
only
character.
gonna be. It was gonna be about Lex and Lois.
Yeah.
That was what the show was gonna be about. It was gonna be about Lex and Lois.
That sounds really dumb. Why would I watch a Superman show without? That's like Gotham. It's Batman without Batman.
Yeah,
like,
but
that's
you know what?
stupid.
No. They could have done this smart with Gotham, but they chose not to.
Of course.
You could have had Gotham City or Gotham Central, but we didn't.
No, because they sat there and decided we have to shoehorn Bruce Wayne into this because everyone wants Batman. It's like
We also have to see all of the
villains.
main villains are like way older than Bruce. They're all in like their 30s, except Catwoman.
Oh,
because
Who's
she has
just
to be with
convenient-
him.
And don't forget the hyper-aged Poison Ivy.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
we aged
Because
her twice now.
Twice.
Yes, they
Wow.
changed the actress, and the actress is older. 'Cause
But they
she's-
did it
she's more come
twice
and get
already.
it. She's more a come get it actress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did it
Nice.
twice.
Yeah, no, I never liked the premise of Gotham to begin with.
But back to the Superman thing at hand.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Superman. So
I wonder if it will spiral out into a show. I want to see more of this Superman. I liked his portrayal of what we've got
I
of
did
him
too.
so far, and I think if we get a Superman live action show, I think DC's going to decrease their involvement, which I wouldn't have a problem with at this point. Screw the movie universe. It's kind of gone down the crapper
Well,
at this point.
I think
So if they just decide to make superhero shows for all of these guys, just stick with the live action stuff, the live action superhero series. That's fine. You've already established a good universe. Just stick with it.
Well,
Why not?
here's the thing. I think that if Superman's well received again with the new episodes he's going to be in, and I think that if Lois is received well,
Depending on who they cast, yeah.
I think after the mid-season break, because I think she's going to premiere before the mid-season break, if they're received well, I don't see. I can almost 100% guarantee you Lex Luthor will show up at the end of this season of Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
And if Lex shows up at the end of this season of Supergirl, you will be getting a Superman show next season.
I think that they might do what they did with Black Lightning and Legends and all that, and just make the first episode air after the mid-season, maybe not this mid-season break, but maybe next mid-season, because that's what they're doing now to see if the shows take off. They'll either give you a CW seed animated show, which they would not do with Superman. They would go straight to live action.
Oh, yeah.
And they would give the mid-season break. They'd give you like 13 episodes after that.
But here's the other thing too, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Batman. With like if they, I think when you see Gotham finally, when Gotham's over this season, I don't think they're going to be renewing a contract with anyone else. I think they're going to wind up making a Batman show. And just,
I hope so. Why hasn't there been anyway? You would think that would be one of the easier ones to make because he doesn't have any powers.
Yeah.
There's really no
But
CGI animation that you really need to do.
But again, I mean, I don't think, and I think that they'll just go straight with a full season for Superman. I don't think they'll wait because it's as long as you're doing Superman, and people have loved this guy as Superman since he first showed up. There has not been
For
one
the minute that he's been Superman.
No one's complained, and even the first thing that everyone said the minute he debuted on screen was, "Oh my God, they actually gave us Superman."
Well, yeah, because he actually speaks.
Yeah, and he's actually, hope personified.
Yeah.
He also, I know you guys aren't overly a fan of her, but he does have a really good chemistry with the chick that plays Supergirl.
No, I didn't say anything against Melissa as
Whatever
Supergirl. She's fine. She works it however she does. The writing doesn't give her too much to work with at times, but she does what she can. Her immaturity off screen is notwithstanding, but it is mind-blowing. But notwithstanding, I think she does an alright job. Although it is obvious kind of on screen, even when she's playing Supergirl, when she's with someone that she does not want to be on camera with.
Well, the sad part is because her and Mon-El had such amazing chemistry.
They did.
And it bothered me and boggled me.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, before we get too off topic,
so there we go. I mean, we got so Superman and Lois are going to be showing up this season for Supergirl and the CW shows. So we'll see what happens from there. Lois has yet to be cast, so we'll see what happens with that. Mm-hmm. Next up, we have there's some comic book announcements of some series ending. First up is Moonknight is going to be ending with issue 200, which has been it's been somewhat.
That's your expertise there. Didn't you read it?
Yeah, I've actually been really enjoying it. They've really established like a really good. They kind of started like trying to set up a rogues gallery for Moonknight, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
They've also set up like more of a supporting cast instead of just like all his different personalities, which is also fun because he's actually talking to people and talking
to like real people now.
So that's kind of been cool. But I also kind of think that's what the job of Max Bemis has been writing the new Moonknight series, which is, hey, we wanna flesh some stuff out and create a world for Moonknight. Which the previous run before this was Jeff Lemire, and I love Jeff Lemire, and his Moonknight was great.
Balls to the wall, crazy.
But that's the thing. It really like delved into the world of the Moon God, and you didn't know if you were in reality or not.
It was also a book though that you couldn't just pick up and be like, "Oh, this is a pretty cover."
You had to read the entire run of.
I mean, how many times were we here on Wednesday, and this looks like a cool book. Oh, you're gonna have to start with number. Oh, we don't have number 1.
Yeah.
Because like we had literally been selling it.
Yeah. I mean, Moonknight, and actually even recently the new Moonknight series has been selling really well. But it's also very cryptic about the ending of Moonknight because it's not that the book is actually ending. The writer and artist their run ends with issue 200.
Yeah.
So I think that probably either in December or most likely January, we're going to get a new Moonknight number 1, which is going to be double numbered Moonknight number 1 201, and it's gonna have a new creative team on it.
Or they're gonna do like a digital thing first and then do the graphic novel.
All right. So Moonknight, the creative team is leaving after issue 200. Hopefully, we're gonna get a relaunch soon with a new creative team, and also with a lot of the talk of there being some Netflix action with Moonknight.
Possible new Defenders character. I hope they do another season of Defenders and they bring in Punisher and maybe another character or two.
Yeah, well, I'm actually kind of more... Moonknight actually, I think, was originally on Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
He was originally a Heroes for Hire character. So which would be really cool because it could be someone who... I mean, I guess they were supposed to mention him in the new season of Iron Fist, which I guess got cut out. But just because I guess the reference was just kind of like a throwaway reference that they had to just cut. But it'd be more interesting for Danny to be the guy to run into him because it'd make more sense since Danny is more of a globe-trotting character. And Mark Spector was a mercenary for hire. He was always going to Egypt and
I thought he was an actor.
One of his personalities is an actor.
Oh, thank you.
But Mark Spector was a mercenary, and that's how he winds up getting the powers of the Moon God, because he dies, he gets killed in the Moon God's temple underneath the statue, and he prays for, some type of
sweet
retribution, and the Moon God's like, alright, fine, I'm bringing you back, but you're gonna be my servant, and you're gonna do what I want you to do, which is kill people.
Nice.
Bad people.
Oh, of course.
Is it though?
Yeah, Moon Knight's not just a random murderer. He fights bad people and supernatural stuff. But yeah, no. So hopefully we'll get like a new Moon Knight series soon. Another series ending, which is some disappointing news. Injustice 2.
Shocking,
Damn.
actually.
Why? Do you know?
I think it's just they just told the stories they're going to tell with it. It's caught up to the game.
Well, to be fair though, yes, I didn't want it to. Well, in the most recent issue, the main villain of the second game, the main villain of the second game, so Brainiac shows up. So they're going to nice. They're going to they eventually, it's only supposed to be a year. There's only a year gap, so they can only tell so much between. Games,
so I mean that's the thing. I mean, where you had with the original Injustice series, you had so much wiggle room because
it was
from
like
the
5 years.
Yeah, from the moment that Superman kills the Joker to the beginning of the game, you have so much time.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, it's a year gap between the first game and the second game.
I hope there's not too much of a time gap between 2 and 3, because I have no doubt they're going to make a third one, and I hope they do soon.
Well, Tom Taylor actually said that you're also getting an annual. So the series is ending, but you're getting an annual, which is going to be, I guess, is going to wrap up some of the other stories that they were telling.
Yeah, they had a few arcs.
And then he said that there's plans for more stuff, which is probably going to be centered around
the next game. We shall see. I don't know where they're gonna go with the outcome because there were two possible outcomes.
Yeah.
So I don't. It all depends on which one was the one they choose as the definitive ending for the game.
Did you guys read what his comment was?
Who?
About the book being ending?
What?
Tom Taylor.
What?
He's like, so I read it and I was upset. I complained to my wife. When I was done with that, I called my mom and I complained to her. And I just thought that was hilarious.
That's pretty great. I hope though that because it all depends on if they count the new DC Masters of the Universe crossover with Injustice, if that's canon, because that actually is a sequel to Injustice 2. So if that's canon, then the Superman ending is canon, which is interesting, but at the same time, it kind of it's kind of confusing. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
My biggest thing with that is if the Superman ending's canon, then that means that we're gonna do what we always do with everything in every DC reality, which is, the prime reality is gonna come fix it because that's what we do.
That was the one crux of the first game that I didn't like.
That was what upset me about the first game, because when I first saw the trailers and everything they told you in the trailers, I was like, oh my god, like it's all about an evil Superman and the heroes have to fight him, and like there's some heroes that have turned bad and other heroes that aren't, and I was like, this is gonna be really cool. And then like
just kidding.
Then it turns out all the heroes turn bad, and Batman's on his own with a good Lex Luthor, and they have to go to the Prime universe and get everybody to help him.
That was my thing. It's like I was just like really upset that we had to bring the Prime universe into it and be like, yeah, no, we need your help to save our reality. It's like, no, just tell a really cool story about this reality.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the second game, was that it did not touch the multiverse at all. While they had a mode, an online like mode that did that, that's fine because, it's another universe. And they say Injustice is a multiverse story. Well, it shouldn't be. It's not in the comics, and it's only a multiverse story in the first game. That's the only game that's really touched it story-wise, so it should be its own secluded story.
I also think that you're going to get less multiverse stuff now because the first game showed that people were interested enough in the idea. Because, like I said, the trailers didn't show anything about the multiverse stuff.
Yeah, because there's like 2 Batman and 2 Superman.
And you don't get that at all in the trailers. In the original trailers, it's just Superman went bad, you have to fight Superman. That was it. So people were interested enough in that premise that, again, like someone like me, I was upset that I found out that we did that, the ridiculous crossing of realities, and the other reality helped fix this reality.
Yeah.
It's silly. But yeah, so hopefully, we'll see more of that continuity just by itself later down the road. Next up, we have there's some Defenders news. Some cool Defenders news from Marvel Comics.
Speaking of Defenders, going backtrack a little bit.
It looks like the original Defenders are getting back together. We've got, for everyone who's not aware, the original Defenders, when the series first premiered, was the Incredible Hulk, Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, and Namor. Those were the original 4 Defenders that were on the team.
What an odd lineup, but I mean, with everything, with Marvel's new thing of going back to the status quo and back to the way things used to be primarily, with restarting everything, I'm not surprised that they use the original lineup, even though that's not what they're doing with, Avengers. They're doing something similar, but not really.
Yeah,
but they are bringing the Fantastic Four, and X-Men's coming back to normal, so...
Yeah. Well, I think it's also, people, you haven't seen a team like this in a long time.
No, not at all. I don't remember the last book I even heard about that had Hulk, Strange, Namor, and Silver Surfer, especially because Namor is so wishy-washy with his history.
Yeah.
Is he attacking the Earth? Is he saving it? I mean, Hulk used to do that, but at least they made Hulk more of a hero towards now recent history, but Namor is still kind of
Hulk's just kind of. But see, that's the thing. Hulk was never, he's not really as wishy-washy as Namor, because Namor is consciously doing it. The Hulk is kind of depending on how he turns into the Hulk, how mad he is, why he's mad, what other things are surrounding the situation. It depends on what Hulk is aiming himself at.
Yeah, Namor's just trying to get into the Invisible Woman's pants, and, we got to see how we can do that as fast as possible.
Or he's mad at Captain America that day, or...
Yeah. Just that one day.
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason why they found Captain America, was because Namor flipped out because the Eskimos were worshiping Steve Rogers' corpse as a god. And Namor found out, and he was like, no, they're supposed to worship the ocean, and he takes Cap's body and which he's friends with Cap. You would think that he would have been like, oh.
Yeah, wasn't he there during the World War II?
You think Namor would be like, oh, hey, Steve, you're in ice. I should help you.
He's so inconsistent in his history. It's so weird.
No. He's consistently a D. That's what you can expect from him.
He's a super jerk.
He does what he wants because he's Namor.
Yeah. So he doesn't even, I don't even know if he looked. He literally just takes the block of ice and just throws it in the ocean. And he's like, brah, false totems.
Brah. Did you ever see that Family Guy sketch where it's Namor versus Aquaman?
No.
Guys, it's them, it's Peter and his friends on a boat, and they're with Aquaman and Namor, and Aquaman's making the fish do all the cool stuff. And they're like, can you do that, Namor? And he's like, no. But I've got wings on my feet, yeah. But you can't do the fish thing. So you're not as cool. And they just keep, bashing on Namor.
But however, Namor can control water.
Yeah.
And he can fly due to the wings on his feet.
Yes.
But yeah.
And he also
Aquaman's
flooded
wife
Wakanda.
can do that.
Yeah, I was going to say he flooded Wakanda.
That's not a cool... I mean, it's cool that he did that, but at the same time,
cool.
it's pretty bad that
I
he did
read that, and I was like, Namor surfing a wave with the Phoenix, flooding Wakanda. Let's go.
Yeah.
It was also a really hot costume too.
And he definitely flooded Wakanda's basement there.
Yeah, he did. Giggity.
Lord, let's
So with the Defenders book coming up, you've got it's separate one shots. Each one for each of the characters: Hulk, Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, and Namor. They're all being written by different writers with different artists, all leading into the fifth one shot, which is called the Defender. The Defender's Best Defense, I think, is what they're calling it. Is what the mini's called, the Best Defense, and it's coming out. The one shots start in December. I don't know if they're going to be weekly or if they're just going to be one a month. We're not sure yet.
Is it going to be Bruce Hulk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now the writers lined up are Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, Jerry Dugan, and Jason Latour. They're all. I think for the exception of Jason Latour, the other ones have been writing consistent series for Marvel for a while. Jason Latour, he was actually a big detective. For DC he was writing detective for a while, and I think even Batman Dark Knight during New 52. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the teams. Hopefully, if the mini does well, we'll be getting a consistent Defender series coming out again with those characters, which would be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Next up, so we have some Marvel movie news. Again, continuing from the saga of all the James Gunn stuff and Marvel and the Guardians and so on and so forth. As of right now, Guardians 3 has been delayed indefinitely, with no plans right now to move forward, since they are lacking a director. They have told the crew, all the production crew, that they can look for other jobs to now to fill what was supposed to be the production for Guardians 3. Also related to that is they have been talking to Taika Waititi, from the director of Thor Ragnarok, for future projects. So, given his style, what he did with Thor Ragnarok,
you think it's 3? You think it's Guardians?
I think they're talking to him about doing Guardians 3. It's also very likely that, especially since Chris Hemsworth is now walking away from Star Trek 4. Him
and Pine.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's just real sad.
I think that Paramount's gonna cave and they're gonna give them the money they want. I think that's what's gonna happen.
I hope so. I want my Star Trek 4. For the Guardians thing, it's a sad time for Guardians fans, but at the same time, I mean, now that it's delayed indefinitely, I don't have anything else to say on it, honestly. Like, we will see. Let's see what they do.
I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Taika is gonna take over. I think that's what they're doing. Okay. They want to work something out. Because now you also have to consider the fact that now they have to. They don't know if they're gonna use James Gunn's script. You have several people who are already up in arms. Oh, we're gonna walk off set if you don't use James Gunn's script. Like they already want to leave because James Gunn's not involved. So they have to really figure out what they're gonna do.
I say just recast them. Start bringing in other people from the Guardians mythos.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could do it. I mean,
you have enough characters.
Warlock.
You could put Valkyrie in as a Guardian.
Yeah.
Who was that other character in when they introduced him in Earth's Mightiest Heroes? There was Quill, Groot, Rocket, Warlock, and then there was a girl, but it wasn't Gamora.
Mantis?
Probably Mantis.
I don't think so.
I'm
gonna look it up.
Quasar.
I think it was
either Quasar or Moondragon.
I was gonna say you could do Moondragon.
Yeah.
My choice that I'll never get, but I would like it. Yeah. You could bring in Angela.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if they'll ever do Moondragon because Moondragon was Drax's daughter.
Was she?
Yeah, Moondragon's Drax's daughter.
How is she still alive?
Something happened that brought her back, and
I know she's a lesbian.
Yeah, because she was dating Faye Lavelle, which was Quasar.
Yeah, it's this girl.
Let me see.
The one in the hood.
The Hood? Is it the Hood?
Oh yeah, that's Quasar. It's
Is
Faye
it
Lavelle.
Stephen Lamell?
Did you say Stephen Lamel?
I did say Lamel. I don't know why I said Lamel.
But yeah, no. So yeah, they could bring in a bunch of characters that are heavy hitters that they you could get rid of Drax. Just you could even just have just have him not come back from the snap.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, he survived the snap, didn't he?
No, only Rocket did.
Only Rocket did.
Rocket and Nebula.
And
Nebula, yeah.
Everyone else died.
Everyone else.
Spoiler alert.
Snap. Your mama had to snap twice.
That's not the joke.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. So, next big thing on the list here for comic book fans. There's going to be some big stuff happening in the new Justice League story arc. They're going to be bringing back the Starmans.
All of them?
A couple of them, from what the...
Like Mr. Starman, then Stargirl... Like that Starman?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're talking, I guess there's going to be, Scott Snyder said he can't say too much because he doesn't want to spoil anything.
Is it supposed to tie into Doomsday Clock because Starman is a Justice Society character?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He already said that there's big plans for Ted Knight with the Justice Society. Ted Knight is, the most popular Starman character that's been around was Jack Knight, which was which was in the, during the late 90s, early 2000s. Actually, most of the 90s, early 2000s. He was the son of Ted Knight, who was the JSA member.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably the most popular Starman because he is actually created by James Robinson. Which would be really cool if James Robinson's writing JSA. That'd be great.
You'd lose your mind.
I'd actually pick it up. I would only ever pick up the Justice League books if they crossed over. But yeah, no. Right now they're bringing back that there's big plans for Ted Knight with the JSA. They're talking about bringing back some of the other Starman characters. I think one was the blue one's name is Michael. He was the alien Starman. And there's another Starman that they were talking about bringing back. But it looks like there's going to be a lot of big stuff happening Starman-wise in the near future.
Let's see if this one isn't garbage.
Aww,
this arc.
Why do you keep hurting yourself?
Not Starman. Just. Well, I'm gonna pick up Justice League until I stop reading comics.
Issue 50.
Oh yeah, no.
Are you gonna ride this?
I'm gonna ride the Scott Snyder bandwagon till the end.
This Scott Snyder, this continuity train of terror.
Oh yeah. Well.
That's awful.
Did they at least do a good job of explaining why Lex is nuts again?
No.
Oh yeah, they had a flashback.
Oh, thank God we solved it with a flashback.
Oh yeah, no, he went to the future and found out he was like right the whole time, and it was he's called like the biggest fool ever. So he goes back and he's like, I'm gonna make a Legion of Doom, and no, it's not a good way of explaining it.
What's he right about? That Superman's evil?
I don't know. They call him the biggest fool ever. I don't remember the whole thing, but he goes to the future and there's a huge statue in honor of him, and it's like, we called him the biggest fool alive because he was right and he didn't even know it. About just everything.
How does
he was just the smartest man.
Do I even want to know?
He just makes a time machine because he's Lex Luthor.
You know what I call that?
Lazy writing.
Piss poor writing.
As far as I'm aware, yes, that is his time machine. I don't think he steals it from anybody.
Thank God Lex has his own time machine.
Because that's
and he only uses it for that.
Yes, he only uses it for that, not to
go back and kill Superman. Make sure he never.
No more.
Anyway, to get out of this rut of horribleness, what's next?
So listen, JSA is potentially coming back soon. We got Ted Knight's coming back. Some really cool Starman stuff coming up. We will hope and pray that it's going to be amazing.
How does it feel to know your prayers and hopes are just destroyed by Scott
They're going to go unanswered.
Playing with his action figures.
Listen, if James Robinson... And you know what? I have to believe James Robinson's involved because no one touches Jack Knight without James Robinson.
Yeah.
No one's written that character since he wrote the last story.
Well, wasn't he part of
And no one
JSA?
touches Shade either, since he made that character integral to Jack Knight.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. So last bit of news. Again, this is actually some more fun Bendis fan news. It looks like him and the artist I believe it's Mike Oeming. They're going to be doing Powers is going to be coming back as original graphic novels. So that should be a lot of fun. Mainly because it's been so sporadic. Again, I think we mentioned this earlier in the podcast that he's been very sporadic with his creator-owned projects. I just think because he was writing way too many books at Marvel, just too many at once. He had no time to write other stuff. So now he has the freedom to do so, because really most of the things he's writing for DC are all his creator-owned stuff under the Jinx World imprint.
Except for Soups.
Well, yeah, Superman in Action. But other than Superman in Action, what else has he taken over? There we go.
Give it time.
But I think that's what it is. He really just kind of wanted some leeway to write all this stuff.
Justice League disassembled.
Oh my god.
New Justice League. New League.
Justice League American War.
Could you imagine? Like I could see like if the sales, like that's the thing, the sales for Justice League are there,
which is sad.
Well, listen, like I feel like if at any point something happens in this run where the fans just completely reject it, they're just gonna turn around and they're gonna be like, Brian, you fixed things like this before. Fix this.
You've done this once before. We need you to do it again for us.
I just want to know, like,
every time I think I'm out,
they pull me back.
I think it's mainly because of Scott's lineup. Scott's lineup is phenomenal. His lineup for the book, he chose the characters that would bring this book money, and it did. I think that's partly the reason, because there's no way someone buys this book for the writing. It's garbage.
I want to know. That was the best comment ever.
We've really got to stop. I mean, listen, I don't get me wrong.
I hope we have him on here one day. I hope he happens to stop. Remember that episode
I hope he's
of
able to
Family?
stomach this criticism.
No.
You know what the worst part
I
about
don't hate him as a human being.
You want to know what the worst part about
I
this?
do.
Really? Because you're the guy who sits there like, yeah, this jackass gets his ideas for stories from listening to his son in the shower.
Wait.
That's a video on his YouTube channel. That's how I know that.
Do you remember the episode of Family Guy where Luke Perry guest stars?
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, babe, I'll be in a minute. I just got to look at every high school newspaper to see if I'm mentioned. That's what I want. I want him to be listening to every podcast in the country for whichever one.
That's what Dan Slott does.
I'll put him in the tags for the video.
do.
No, really,
So he
like
knows.
you know,
Dan
like
Slott listens for himself?
no, Dan Slott. He'll actually like watch all the message boards. On, like,
Oh,
all
no,
the,
I knew that.
on all the comic like news sites. And if anyone like says anything about him or his story, he'll attack you. And be like, oh,
Yeah.
well, blah, 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 this and this and this, and you're wrong because you're just a fan. Like, yeah, true story. Watched it happen.
Is that all you're
Did
going to
it
go
happen
with that?
to you?
It's a story that happened. It's
You know what? It's a story that it's Devon's birthday on Wednesday. You can come out and totally ask him about it.
Anyway.
That was a subtle plug too, for your birthday.
So no, Brian Michael Bendis is having right now I think he's just having fun writing stuff he wants to write. I think that's really it. I think that's the main reason he left Marvel. Was because Marvel was kind of like, hey,
No, we need this event now.
yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. He had an exclusive contract with Marvel, and
They worked him like a cow.
well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. You know when. I mean, what's the old saying? You don't about the golden goose, the goose who laid the golden egg.
Don't fry it. I don't know.
I don't know. There's an old saying about the goose who laid the golden egg, and honestly, at the time for Marvel, that was Brian Michael Bendis. I mean,
Of course.
You
Yeah,
need-
he did
you-
New Avengers,
You
all
needed
that
a new
stuff.
character. You needed a team fixed. That was your
yeah,
guy.
I mean that was.
Hey, he can do it.
You needed to think outside the box and make Doctor Doom an Iron Man. It's your guy.
Hey, listen. Don't get me wrong. I like a lot of the stuff
too.
Bendis did. I do. I think that you can tell. You can just see it at the end of all his runs. He was just kind of like
he was burned.
he was like,
Even his Jessica. I read that last issue.
yeah.
He
Well,
was
it's like
that hurt.
well, they even like the stuff with Iron Man. I mean, you had the whole thing where they did the secret origin of Tony Stark, where you found out that he's not a Stark.
Yeah.
He's adopted. He's
Weren't they originally going to make Widow his mother?
No, that was a red herring. Everyone thought that's what they were going to do, and it wasn't. So again, I think Bendis doing his independent stuff is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun for fans to finally see. Yeah, to finally see Powers come back. I mean, it's been years since we've actually had.
Listen, you get a yearly annual.
A full No, it's been years since we've actually gotten a full Powers story.
Yeah.
Because it used to be small little minis and arcs. And then all of a sudden it started becoming every a bi-monthly book. Then it became every quarter. Then it became now it's once a year, and it's only an issue.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be nice to see it go to this format. It looks like there's gonna be a lot of creator-owned stuff going to this format, where it's gonna be just original graphic novels, which is gonna be cool.
I think I'm happy that graphic novels are actually coming back.
Yeah.
Where they're actually a thing. You have Red Sonja, you have the Power stuff.
Astro City's going to...
City.
Yep.
Even Marvel is doing it with the digital stuff. They're not singing out single issues. They're doing graphic novels for those that don't want to kill the industry and buy digital.
All right, everybody. So that's what we got this week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting us. Don't forget to,
as always,
subscribe, like, and share.
Listen on SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud.
And if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, go to YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for everyone who's listening on SoundCloud, Will does amazing videos for the podcast.
Do you?
Thank you.
Yeah, he does. He does a lot of amazing,
a
lot of effects, a lot of artwork.
Well,
it's not just our logo up there like it is in the thumbnail. There's pictures that come up in little moves, things that I do.
I really love your time segment for it too.
I think.
Oh yes, in the description. If you're on SoundCloud and you didn't know this, if you watch it on YouTube, in the description there's time codes for each subject we talk about. So let's say you're late for work and you got to get there, and there's only so much time you have to listen to the podcast. You can go to the specific topics you want to hear us talk about, and that shortens your your limit there.
But but listen, honestly. You also want to make sure that you listen through the whole podcast, because who doesn't want to listen to Will's sexy, enticing voice?
Oh, thank you very much, Devon.
You're welcome, Will.
Oh. I'm just gonna sit here sound like a backup wow, I can't even talk.
I thought you were going to go in on it.
Beeping up, beeping back.
Backing up,
beeping
backing up.
I'm going to beep up.
So everyone out there, check us out. SoundCloud, YouTube, like, share, subscribe, comment.
Check out the Facebook. Yeah. Check out the Twitter, the tweeter. Check out the Instagram.
The Instagram.
There's so many ways to get connected.
Instant graph.
Instant graphs?
And don't forget.
Do we provide that service?
The most important thing to do is come in on Wednesdays and hang out.
During store hours. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good night. This is Devon.
Will.
Steven.
Alrighty. Well, goodbye, everybody.